You listen to old Sinister Cinema reviews on a dark and stormy night when an 8-foot-tall monster presses the back of your favorite head up against a wall and says, "Have you paid your dues, Jason?" I'll look him right back in the eye and I'll say, "Have I paid my dues? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail." Who the fuck doesn't love this movie? I mean, seriously, who the fuck doesn't love this movie? This is one of those, like, immediate outs kind of film. Like, oh, I saw Big Trouble in Little China, that movie sucks. We're not friends. like this goes back to my Thing story where I told you, like, the girl was like, nah, I don't have any interest in talking to you anymore. You didn't like the Thing. Big Trouble in Little China. Like, this is a perfect film. You know, I know when this came out, this was probably very different and unique and something to take in at the time because there really isn't many films like this. Jack Burton, for me, is Kurt Russell's definitive character. Like, it is my favorite Kurt Russell character. And I think what makes his character, if I can get this mic to stay put, his character so interesting in this film is that he plays a dual role here, and it's pretty rare. You get, like, the goofy, kind of stubborn, stupid character, fish out of water, you know, that usual side character, the one that's the audience member, the one that's constantly asking questions because everyone else in the film is in the know, and you have the one outsider who's asking all the questions so that the audience, you know, so that it isn't shoehorned in there. Like, there always has to be that one idiot character that comes into the film and is like, well, what's this and what's that? Because, like, why else would they be explaining it? And outside of narration, it's hard to inject it into the film without it feeling like it's being, you know, shoved down your throat. And so you have to have these kind of silly, stupid characters. But in addition to him playing that character, he's also the coolest guy in the movie and the hero. So you don't really get that usually. You usually get, like, the tough hero guy who's the one answering all the stupid guy questions. But Jack Burton is a blend of the two. He's, like, tough guy, but he's also, like, goofball, idiot, side character wrapped up in one character. So, as I said, I love, he has the best dialogue ever in this film. I mean, I was going to write down, like, a list of all my favorite lines in this movie, but pick one. I mean, literally, just fucking fast forward to a part where he's talking and then just press play, and there you go. There's one of my favorite lines. Like, every single thing he says in this movie is hilarious, awesome, quotable, recognizable instantly. If anyone said pretty much anything he says in this film to me at any random time, I would be like, are you quoting Big Trouble in Little China right now? And are we fucking best friends? Because I think we are. The banter between every character, especially, like, you know, Jack and Wang, or Jack and Gracie, or anybody, there's such great dialogue and interaction back and forth, playing off of each other. So much subtle humor going on within the movie that upon revisits, which, if you're like me, you've seen this movie a fucking 100 times, you know, I don't think I would catch anything new anymore, but 10, 20 watches, you could still be like, oh, I didn't notice he did this little thing with his hands, or these little interactions here with their face movements and whatnot. That's what makes great films, because they have such rewatchability. You can rewatch them over and over again, and you can always find something new to admire, to pick up on, to laugh at, to quote to other diehards. This film is iconic in every imaginable way, and for good damn reason. Ugh, I can't say enough. Now, I do have a Jack Burton shirt, like the one he wears in the film with the Chinese guy on the front, the white tank top. Couldn't find it anywhere. Honestly, it's way too cold to even wear it, but I was just going to rough it through for the video. but I literally can't find it, and I am depressed out of my mind because of that. I have got to find that, but I looked pretty much everywhere I could think it would be, so I don't know what happened to that. But damn, man, the one time I actually really needed it, I wanted to wear it here. It would have suited my opening monologue there. We get Kim Cattrall in here, which, that Gracie Law. I mean, this is how I always knew her. So when I actually did watch every season of Sex and the City and the 2 movies, I really enjoy that show. You know, whatever you want to say, I don't give a shit. It's a really fun show. The second movie is completely pointless, but whatever. Anyway, when Sex and the City came out, it was like, is that Gracie Law? Like, Kim Cattrall is someone that I periodically saw from here or there, but like for a good chunk of time, I don't feel like I saw her in anything. And then she became big, and she became, you know, Samantha, and this big character that everyone knows now, and that's her like iconic role. That if you were to say Kim Cattrall, everyone's gonna be like, oh, you know, Samantha from Sex and the City, and that's fine. I get it. It was a big show, and it went many seasons, and it was the most popular thing she was ever in. But for me, it's Gracie Law. She will always be Gracie Law, and there's plenty of actors like that no matter what you see them in, they are always going to be that character to you. There's that one definitive role for you. Now, when I say Kurt Russell, this is his definitive role. When I think of Kurt Russell, I don't know so much that I think of this film first, but that's something I would have to ponder for a bit. But between The Thing and Snake Plissken and all that, I guess this is probably the one I would think of the most, just because this is the one I quote the most. Stuff like when someone says, see you around, I always, 100% of the time respond, you never can tell. 100% of the time. So anytime anybody says it to me, I'm just like, oh, thank you for the setup there. You know, or son of a bitch must pay, like when they take his truck and everything. Like that, I say that like randomly all the time. I mean, that's the best thing about being around movie geeks, is random quotes from films that sometimes apply to the situation and sometimes don't even have a purpose to be there. Like, I'll say son of a bitch must pay for no reason at all, and it doesn't even apply. And, you know, people are sitting there like, I don't know. And it's like, you don't need to, okay? It's for me. It's not for you. If you were cooler, you would know what I was talking about. Now, watching this film, you definitely notice that Jack is the reason, pretty much. I mean, can he be fully blamed? Of course not. But Jack is the reason that Mao Ying gets taken. I mean, they were going after Kara, and Jack got in the way of that, so they snatched Mao Ying instead and you know, took her over. And then they get her taken from there. It wasn't like Lo Pan sent dudes out looking for a girl with green eyes. It just so happened that this sex shop had a girl with green eyes, and they got wind of it, and boom, came in, the 3 storms came in and, you know, took them away. So it's funny watching that scene and being like, wow, like Jack would have butted in. I mean, it would have sucked for that one girl. Of course, she would have been sold into like sex slavery and whatnot. Like Gracie Law was trying to get her, but who knows? Maybe she would have saved her because she was on it, and she is a tough bitch. She ain't gonna let nothing go down. I love the big brutal fight scene in the alleyway when Jack's in the car, he gets the knife out. God, everything he does in this movie is hilarious. But I feel like it's unfair that they used guns in the opening. It's like, you guys are all kung fu masters. Like, the guns shouldn't have been a thing, but they used them and they're there. And it was basically like, they almost got like a grace period of like slaughtering to lessen down the numbers, and it was like whoever was left standing got to show off their martial arts abilities. So it was just kind of like, because you know they still had some guns and everything, but like once the chaos had come to an end, they like threw the guns away, except for that one dude who had like, you know, Old West type style guns, and he was like drawing on people. But everyone else just collectively threw all their guns away, and it was just like, all right, time for fucking kung fu fight. And it's a really fun fight scene. A lot of broken limbs, a lot of, you know, like that guy gets his head stuffed in between the 2 little pillars, and people getting kicked through things. It's a great fight scene. And And then, of course, when the three storms come in, one of the dudes, you can never see this now. At the time, this wasn't a thing, but now you're just like, was that the inspiration for Raiden? I don't know. I'm sure there's other inspirations, obviously, but damn, he looks a fuckload like him, outside of, you know, certain things. And Al Leong is in this. Of course, he's in like every 80s action movie, Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and every other damn thing. He's like the most memorable extra ever. Like anytime you see the guy, he's got the mustache, he's got like the balding, long hair. He's always doing something with fighting. I love seeing Al Leong. It's just one of those characters. It's like a Clint Howard or something. Except for Clint Howard has more screen time and more lines. This guy like almost never talks. But man, is he instantly recognizable, and I love that he's in this. Why do the three storms make robot sounds? That's not really something I've ever been able to figure out because they're not robots. But when they come up on the two gangs fighting, and they, you know, show off their moves, and they put up their thing, they put up their knives to throw. It's like, I don't understand that. That's never made any sense to me, because we clearly see throughout the film that they are not robots. So I don't get that. And you know, when they go in to the Wing Chun exchange and they get the people and they, you know, run out and they jump through the water and they swim away. I'm not sure why they didn't just jump in the water after them and swim after them. Like, they just were like, oh, I guess they got away. And it's like, jump in the water. Like, they're right there. Where do you think? That's silly to me. I mean, it doesn't matter. Does it matter? Of course not. But anytime I watch it, I'm just like, jump in the water. It's not like it's acid or like you're like some other being and you can't touch that stuff. Like, go in after them. Anyway. I love when Wang is kicking ass and Jack's just trying to load his gun and he comes out and everyone's ass is kicked. That's a cool fight scene too. And there's really some pretty cool fight scenes in this movie for what it is. It's actually some sweet shit. The whole Gracie having green eyes and she's able to, you know, tame the burning blade or whatever. I don't understand that. She's not Asian. She's not Chinese. You know, like, he's been looking for this girl for 2,000 years, and a white girl with green eyes tamed the burning blade as well as, you know, a Chinese girl. Like, that just, why wasn't he just rounding up every girl with green eyes? Like, why did he even bother with her if he knew the rules? And if the rules were bendable, then find girls with green eyes. That's not that tough. The mother of my children has green eyes. Like, which is funny because when I was a kid, I always thought, like, I'm going to grow up to marry a girl with green eyes. Now, we're not married, but, you know, I did end up having kids with them, and my kids have, like, bluish green eyes. But I do. I remember when I was a kid watching this movie being like, I'm going to find a girl to tame my burning blade. That sounds sexual, and I don't think I meant that at that age. Maybe I did. Who knows? I'm a pervert now, so I'm probably a pervert then. Egg Chen is another great. I mean, every character in this movie is fucking fantastic, but there's so many funny lines with Egg too. Like, you know, ready for some other, you know, some new bad. Oh, what the fuck is the line? Time for some more bad news. Ready? Like, his optimism and his pessimism at the same time. I love Egg Chen. He's so fucking awesome. Now, the set design, oh man, there's so many great sets in this movie, especially like Lo Pan's wedding procession, like that whole room with like the glowing skull face elevator, and fuck, it's so cool. It's so instantly recognizable. Like, you watch it and you're just like, yes, like you feel at home. I love it. I love the costumes, especially like those guards that come down the walkway with their masks, and he's like, were they real? And he's like, yeah, they're dressed up for his wedding. The monsters, the creatures, that big hairy fucking like Chewbacca after he gets you know, radiation poisoning, and and the little eyeball monster floating head thing that Jack shoots, and is like, you never know if you try. That's a fucking good point. Like, they look at him like he's an idiot, but it's like, you don't know. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he was in there, he's possessing the thing, and if you killed it, maybe, I don't know, it would hurt him. You never know until you try. I'm with Jack on that one. But those look awesome. The thing that comes out of the hole, what will come out no more? You know, I love all those. I love all those monsters. And the makeup, like the David Lopan, the old little basket case on wheels, and the 8-foot tall roadblock, like all those, like everyone's makeup in this is awesome. And the effects, I mean, there's a lot of really cool effects, especially with the you know, thunder blowing up at the end. I don't know what caused them to do that, but that is such a great effect when his face comes out and then he's just like, his face is this huge and he just blows up. Ah, fuck, I love that shit. Such a fun one as well. And when you watch a PG-13 movie, I always bring this up, but you're always waiting for that, you know, fuck line, because you get one fuck per movie, and it's like when he finds his little secret highways at Hollow, all right, fuck it. Like, do I think this movie would have been better with more curse words? Like Jack, I think it would have fit Jack Burton's character more for him to cuss more. Doesn't matter. I mean, the movie's fucking perfect, so there's nothing that's going to fix it. The only real issue I have at all, I guess, is, so saying perfect, I would say like 9.9. And this is so minor, whatever. But it is something that I want to like fast forward through every time. It's the whole like ceremony where the three storms are performing in front of, you know, Gracie and meow, like a cat. No, meow. That's hard to say, like whatever. But when they're performing in front of them, and he's doing the sword thing, and he's like, hi, and it just keeps giving close up. I don't know, that scene just bores me. Like, I'm sure the first viewing, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But on repeated viewings, it does run a long time. And thank God it's broken up with them going back down under the sewers with Jack and them. But I don't know. That is one scene that I'm not huge on. A 6 demon bag, sensational egg. What's in it? And like when Egg Shen shows up and the little eyeball creature sees him and Lopan knows he's there, he does nothing. Like, you can see that Thunder is like, oh shit, he's here. Like, you can see instantly, like him and the long-haired dude with the swords. Can't remember all three of their names. But they look at each other like, oh shit, like Egg Shen's here. Like, that's a big deal. Like, this could fuck everything up. And I guess this is just Lopan's arrogance here, but it just seems like, why didn't he send people out looking for Egg Shen? Like, when he shows up at his wedding, he's kind of like, oh, well, there he is. And it's like, why is everyone there? Backs turned, like no one's on the lookout. Like, everyone's got their back, like looking here. And I get it. You waited 2,000 years. Everyone wants to see it. No one wants to be on guard duty when Lopan's finally getting married. Even though they all haven't been around for 2,000 years, only maybe a couple of them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, you should have sent someone out. But it's as yet another thing. It doesn't matter, of course not. But it's always fun, worth watching. And as I said, like, I think Jack is almost more of a burden to the project up until he kills Lopan. I mean, he really seems to be the only guy that could do it, because it's all in the reflexes. God, there's another one I was talking about in The Thing, how he has one of the greatest closing lines ever with, yeah, fuck you too. It's all in the reflexes. I mean, that's another top 5 ever for me. Like, you know, before you're killing the beast, the main villain, whatever, that's one of the greatest, you know, let off some steam Bennett kind of moments. I don't know if that's in the top 5, but damn, I love it. And I love the statues, the domino statues falling. Like, that clearly, they didn't have, they weren't using green screen or anything. Like, that happened right. They put Kurt Russell in there, and they had all the little platforms under him collapse so that they would fall over in succession and make that cool domino looking effect thing. Man, that's risky shit. Like, whenever I watch stuff like this and I see stuff like that where like buildings are blowing up behind people and whatnot, you can tell at the time they didn't have the ability to do a second take, or, you know, it would be very costly to do one, or, you know, everything was riding on, you know, and they put like 6 cameras up because they were like, we cannot risk this not getting caught. But yeah, watching that, I was just like, man, like that must have been a stressful moment. Like Jack Burton had to be there. Like Kurt Russell couldn't have any moments where he showed any bit of him, because that's like a one take kind of thing. Cool effect, but risky as shit. And I love it though. It looks cool as shit. And when we get the ending that you just almost normally never get. He kisses Gracie Law a couple times throughout the movie, one where she's not so into it and one where she is. But then at the end, it's like he has the ability to get the girl, but he says what's true of himself. Like, I rubbed everyone the wrong way eventually. I completely sympathize with that. I get it. But yeah, it's weird. It's not a normal ending at all. It's just like he has her. She's sitting there. She's giving him that look of like, you got me. You've been trying to get me this entire time. And you know, he's probably like me, where he's just like more into the chase than the capture. So he just is like, no, I'll think about it. And then we get this open ending of like Jack's missing at the very beginning. Like no one knows where he is. And then we see that the monster's on the back of his truck. And it's like we're left to wonder, like, did Jack die? And when I know there's the comic book series and whatnot, and you could definitely count that as canon to the story, but I'm talking about this film and where it sat for 20 plus years for me before that was a thing. It was always just like, man, did Jack survive? And it's like, of course fucking Jack survived. This is Jack Burton we're talking about here, okay? On the old Pork Chop Express, one of my favorite names. It is my favorite name for any vehicle in any movie ever. Close second would be the Deadly Dinosaur in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. But yeah, if you want to laugh your ass off, I've said this in another video, but definitely go and check out the music video that John Carpenter did with his band for this movie. Oh my God, it's horrible. It is one of the worst things ever. It's funny that John Carpenter is in that, and he, you know, obviously had some, I don't know if he directed it himself or if I'm sure he had some input. He's the director. But how amazing this film is. And then you watch that and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck was going on behind the scenes there? That is just a terrible song. Everything about that music video is awful, but very entertaining. Anyway, guys, another huge one I wanted to talk about here. So Halloween, Big Trouble in Little China, and The Thing are all off the list. And In the Mouth of Madness is the other one that I'm dying to discuss. So I'm going to try to get to that fairly soon, but as you can tell, I'm doing all of these in release order. I watched the other one of the night, so I'm going to get to that one.